Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to begin by pruning up my Russian olive. It's been growing. I last pruned this tree in April 16th to be exact. You can follow the playlist in the description below. And I think it's time to prune it again. Some of these shoots are growing really strong and vigorous, so I want to balance the vigor of the tree and kind of grow it out evenly. And I may do some branch selection also. Here's a look at the tree. So this tree was started from seed by Derek of the Toronto Bonsai Society, and it was given to me as a young seedling, and I've been developing it ever since. There's a lot of strong shoots on it, especially some of these ones up top. Even the bottom branches are growing quite well. So definitely time to balance the vigor and prune it up. So here I go. I'm going to begin the pruning up top on the tree. And you can see this shoot here, there's a leaf down low facing the camera, and then there's one out the back here, and the internodes between the leaves is very large. It's long, and it's not good for compact growth. So to help prevent that, there's a couple of things you can do. You can fertilize the tree less, which I don't really like to do because I like to keep them nice and healthy, and I'm not fertilizing them a lot anyway. I'm fertilizing very weakly and frequently. So the other thing you can do is just more pruning. So you're zapping the vigor out of the trees. You can use defoliation as a technique, or partial defoliation, to zap vigor out of the tree so it grows more compact. You can water a little less, which is also another thing I don't like to do. I don't want to sacrifice the health of the tree to get smaller internodes. I think there's better techniques. Probably frequent pruning is better, and maybe some defoliation. So that's the approach I'll take. So because these internodes are so long, I'm going to prune it back to this first leaf here. So here I go, and I'll leave a bit of a stub, taking the top off that branch. You can see the silvery color on the bottom of the leaves, and the top is greener. The very top shoot here, again, the internodes between the leaves aren't as large as that one I cut off, but they're still fairly large for a small tree. So I have the option here of pruning to the first leaf, or I could leave 2 leaves on, but I think that would make my apex too tall. So I'm going to go back to that first leaf, like that. There's another shoot here. This one I will leave 2 leaves on. It's not quite as vigorous. This one, I have a leaf down low here. Got a bud here, leaf here, one fanning out to the front. So again, because it's in the apex, I'm going to go very low here, taking a lot off. And I may be doing some branch pruning on this tree also, checking the structure out. There's a very vigorous branch coming out the front. I have 2 leaves down low here, so I'll take it off here, like that. This one's quite vigorous. I have 2 leaves here, so I'll take it in front of those, leaving the 2 leaves on. There's a very vigorous shoot here, so I have to make sure it's getting light. If I prune it back too short, it'll be shaded out by the upper branches. So I'll leave it a little long for now. I'll prune to this downward facing leaf here, taking that off. This branch can be pruned back to here. There's a pair of leaves fanning outwards. I've got a fairly vigorous branch here. I've got 2 leaves fanning outwards here, so I'll prune just above that. This branch, I've got a couple of leaves and the internodes are quite long on it, so I think on this one I've got to prune back to a single leaf. I'll prune it off to 2 leaves for now, and I may come back to that one. So the tree's getting a little more compact now. Some of these branches you can see out the back haven't grown a whole lot. So I've kind of tackled the most vigorous ones. There is one up here I could prune back, taking the top off, and this one can be pruned back. And this one. Okay, let's get in a little closer to the tree now. I'm in a little closer now, so I'm going to start doing a little more detailed pruning. I have a branch that sweeps upwards here, and I have one coming out the front. It's a little straight in this section here, and I do have a leaf on the top here, which isn't ideal. There is one on the bottom down here also, so I could prune it back, and I think I'd better. It's just too straight. Like it's pruned back. This one is kind of growing in a strange direction. I have a leaf fanning out here, so I'm going to take it back. And then any leaves that are kind of pointing in towards the center of the tree, I'm going to remove. And that will help get light to all these branches and to the buds, and kind of sort the structure out a bit so you can see the branch structure better. Like here's a leaf facing the inside. I'll take that one out. Yeah, so that's got that bottom branch pruned up. Now it continues up here. I've got a stub here I can clean up. This one's good. This branch, I could tip prune it. Just take the top bud and leaf off like that. Okay. I have a branch growing up here that is growing from the top of a branch. I don't know if you can see it in there. I can definitely tip prune that, take it back to an outwards facing leaf. This branch here, stub I can clean up. I'll prune to a downward facing leaf there. There's a leaf pointing inside here I can remove. Again, getting more light to the lower part of the tree. There's a leaf crossing another branch here I can take out. Leaf pruning like this, as I mentioned, is another technique for zapping vigor out of the tree. Now let's go to this lowest branch on the right hand side. It's getting quite long, and it's fairly straight. It's kind of got a straight section here, another straight section, another straight section. I think I could replace the branch tip. I have a finer branch here and a coarser one beside it. So I could either prune it back. There's a bud on the bottom down there, right here. So I could at least prune this back to here, the stronger one. And then kind of let this one develop. I'll take this leaf off here. Yeah, you can see the leaf here from that bud on the bottom of that branch. So I'll leave that, see how it develops. There's a leaf here I can remove. I think I'm going to take this one back one internode more. Get it going the right direction. Okay, well that's about all I can do on that branch, and this branch is sorted now. So let's keep going up to here. I can take the tip off here. I've got an outwards facing leaf here and one to the front, so I'll take the tip off that branch. There's a stub I can clean up here. Like that. There's a few branches growing in funny places here. There's one at the base of this branch, in between the trunk and the branch. I'd better get that out. I don't want that growth in there. So for this, I'll use the tweezers and try and pluck it out. So here's that growth right in here. So I'll just come in and pluck it out. So the leaf fell off there too. Yeah, just get rid of that shoot. And this one on the inside here. There. Okay, so that branch is sorted out. There is one more leaf I could remove here. It's fanning inwards. Yeah. Now, there's a back branch here. Let's spin it around and have a look at this branch. There's a stub I can clean up here. Another stub I can clean up here. Now, so I've got quite a horizontal branch here that's developing. I haven't pruned it. I'll just let that grow. Just take that stub back there. This one's being pruned. And then there's part of the branch here that's kind of growing. It's not growing to the inside, but there's a better branch out here, and I don't want it dividing. It kind of comes 90 degrees to the radial direction of the branch, so it's not a very flowing branch, so I'm going to remove that entirely. Like that. I have better flowing branches each side here. There's a leaf going to the inside here I can take out. Another one here. Another one down here. And one here. I also, at the base of this branch, I have a branch coming off that's growing up and over top of this branch. So I'm going to prune it back. Getting rid of that interference. Like that. This upper leaf here, giving light to the two lower buds. Okay, let's go back to the front now. That'll certainly help clean up the structure of the tree there. There is, on this branch, I have two branches fanning outwards nicely, and then a vertical one that kind of grows up and fans out. I don't need that vertical one, it's just not a flowing branch. It looks a little awkward. Here's another leaf pointing to the inside of the tree. Get rid of that. So this is part of the leaf thinning, which definitely takes vigor out of the tree. So the new growth should come in with smaller internodes. There's another leaf I can remove here. And this one here, it's crossing everything. There's a stub I can clean up here. And a stub I can clean up here. Like that. So this part, this is kind of one of my trunk lines growing up, and it fans out nicely. And then I have a branch here that's kind of, it's a little straight looking. It's kind of on the inside of a curve here. I'm not sure I like it. I have another one opposite kind of here. I'm wondering if I need that one at all. I don't think so. I'm going to take it right out. Like that. There's one growing up from this branch, vertical. I'm going to take that out also. It's just not graceful and flowing. There's a leaf going to the inside I can take out there. Another one here. that. And then on this branch, I've got a stub I can clean up here. On this branch, I have 3 branches growing from one spot here. So I have 2 fanning out and 1 that's more vertical. And because this is the apex of the tree, I want the branches reaching upwards. So I think there's one coming off of that branch that's going back in towards the center of the tree also. So out of these 2 branches on the bottom, I've got to keep one of them and get rid of one. And I think in this case, because this front one isn't growing over top of any major branches, I'm going to keep that one and get rid of the other one. So here I go, big cut coming up. Taking that off. I'll tip prune this one. I have a couple of leaves fanning out here, so I'll just take the tip off, reducing that back. There's an old leaf here, and there was a bud at the base of that leaf that grew into this branch, so I can take the old leaf off. It's done its job. There's a stub I can clean up here. Okay, let's go back around the other side now. I've got a few stubs I can clean up. There's one here. There's one in here. Pretty big one. There. Take this leaf off. And I think this branch is all right. It divides from 1 to 2. This one's a little vertical. Maybe I'll just take the tip off it. Try to get it to fan out a bit more. This one's fine. There's an old leaf here I can remove. I've got a division of 1 to 3 here. And there's one growing towards the inside here. I'll remove that one. Don't want that. Keeping my canopy a bit open. And then I've got, not only do I have 3 branches up here, but I have 3 down here. I have the continuation of this trunk line going up, and then a branch each side. So one of these 3 has to go here. There's a dead branch growing in towards the center here. I'll get rid of that. Yeah, so which to keep? Let me look from the front. I'm leaning towards removing this one because there's a lot of lower branches and it's kind of growing over top of them, whereas this one, there's not a lot of branches below it. It's kind of got its spot in sunlight. So I'll take this one off. So here I go. It's gone. And then I have to decide about the 3 up top here. So let me have a look again from the front. Well, I don't want the one growing back over towards the center of the tree, so I'll get rid of that. And then I'm wondering if I should prune this tall one back. This is kind of my crown, and this is sticking up out of the crown. So I have that opportunity. I've got this branch fanning out the back, so I will. There is a bud in the inside here. I'll leave a stub and see what grows. Take that back. There's another stub here I can clean up. Yeah, so here's the front of the tree now. I think I could take this branch back a bit further. I've got a bud here, so I'll take it back like that. And that may be all I can do to the tree for today. Another stub here. This one's a little long here too. It's starting to shade out everything. I have a leaf here, so I could take this one back also. I will. Again, leaving a stub. That looks better. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think the tree's pruned up. I took a lot off, but the tree definitely looks better. It's looking a little more miniature. It makes the trunk look a little thicker because it's shorter and more compact. Here's a look at the top of the tree, and I'll show you what I took off it today, which is a lot of foliage. A lot of branches got pruned. Yeah, so let's have a look at the tree now. I'll rotate it around once again. Here's the front of the tree. I'm rotating around to the right-hand side, to the back of the tree, to the left-hand side, and back to the front. I'll give the Russian olive some water and fertilizer, and it can go back on the bench. All right, here I go with the water and fertilizer. We did get rain for the last 2 days, so it's not dry, but I'm sure the fertilizer washed out of the soil, so I'm going to just water it once again. Like that. I like this little tree. It has that kind of classical upright branch style, very reminiscent of trees you see in nature. This tree is called a Russian olive, but that's just the common name for the tree. I'll put the scientific name for the tree in the description. But I do have a true olive tree, so let's get that out next and have a look at it. Here is my European olive. This tree was a gift from Scott Winard of Let's Do Bonsai, so thank you, Scott. I got this tree 2 years ago when Scott and I went to the U.S. National Show in Rochester, New York. And this tree was purchased from Tropical Expressions in Hamilton, Ontario. And it was, it wasn't the greatest style, and I did some root work on it. I kind of reduced it to a single trunk line, and I've been kind of just letting it grow. So today I'm going to do a bit of pruning on it. Here's a look at the olive tree. So I'll just spin it around so you can see it from all directions. So here's the front, coming around to the right hand side, and you can see I removed a big branch here and either a root or a branch down lower there. And around the back there's been a big cut here. It had kind of a very strange structure. It wasn't very flowing, and that's my goal for this tree, is to create a smooth upright flowing structure with a rounded crown, very reminiscent of olive trees you would see in cultivation in maybe Italy. So my question is, well, do I prune the top of the tree back and start developing the upper structure? And that all depends, well, how thick a trunk do I want? How big do I want the tree to grow? Do I want to keep it a small tree, grow it into a larger tree? These are all questions you have to consider before you tackle the pruning. And to grow this into a larger tree, you would have to either put it in a big pot and just let it go wild for 10 years. And I don't need another bigger tree, so I'm going to try and keep the tree fairly small and compact. And this transition from the older trunk to the newer branch, that'll improve with time slowly. But I think I can develop the structure and not worry about trying to thicken the trunk up and unify the trunk quite so much. So for those reasons, I am going to prune it today. I'm going to start the pruning by pruning back the height of the tree. So I have a nice branch here that flows nicely. I have a nice flowing branch here, another nice flowing branch here, another one here, there's another one here, one here. I don't want it getting too tall, otherwise it looks tall and spindly. So I'm thinking of pruning it right here. The only disadvantage of pruning it there is I don't really have a branch coming out the front. I do have a leaf scar here, so potentially a new leader could grow out towards the front of the tree here. I think I'll do that. I think I'm going to prune above that leaf scar. So here I go, the first big cut, and I'll leave a bit of a stub for dieback. So I'll kind of prune halfway between leaf internodes. So here I go, big cut coming up. Done. So now the tree's looking a little more compact. There's a stub here I can prune away from the last time I pruned it. There's a stub here I can prune away. There's stubs in between these branches here I can prune away. And here. And up here. And I think that has the, oh, I missed one here. I think that has the structure cleaned up. So now I can prune the branches I have left. So let's get in a little closer and start the detailed pruning. I'll be using directional pruning. So at the base of each leaf is a dormant bud. So if you prune in front of that leaf, that dormant bud will be activated and a new branch will grow in the direction that the leaf is facing. So you can use your leaves as guides to where you want your branches to grow. So I do like, the upright fanning out structure. So I think on this branch, I'm going to leave some leaves back here. I think a good place is right here. And again, I'll prune halfway between the internodes. And when that stub dries up, I can clean it up later on. This branch here, it's a little weaker, but I can prune here in between this leaf internodes, like that. This one, it's not very developed, but it will elongate. I think I'll just prune the tip off. Like that. This branch here, it's shooting upright. And again, I have an outwards facing leaf here, so I'll just prune the middle tip out to create a bit of ramification there. And the one coming out the front, depending where the front of the tree is, probably somewhere here. I want to redirect it out towards the side more, so I'll take it back to here. Got a leaf fanning out here. So that is all the pruning on the European olive for today. The next step is just to let it grow. I was going to say I've got some older leaves here. I could clean them out, but there's no point. They're getting sun, developing energy for the tree, and they're not faded looking or anything, so I will leave those on. So I'll just rotate it around once more. So here's the front, right hand side, the back, left hand side, and back to the front. I will also give the tree a bit of water and fertilizer. Keep it happy for today. This olive should like the weather coming up this week. It's going to be hot and humid. I'll put the olive tree back on the bench now, and I think there's time to do one more tree. The last tree I'll be working on today is my Bullhorn Acacia. I did some pruning to this tree. I kind of cut it back hard in several places, and I kind of got mixed results. It didn't reliably bud out all over the place, and I did lose a lot of branches over the winter. It just, well, I definitely don't have the climate for growing these, but I'll still try. But the tree's alive, so I think my steps today, I'm going to prune off some of the dead branches and prune back some of the living ones, so it's not quite so big and tall. Here is a look at the tree. So you can see it's really nice, the foliage on it, and they call it the Bullhorn Acacia because it gets these thorns that look like bullhorns. Let me just show you a close-up of that. Yeah, so you can see the two bullhorns here. Really, really cool. Now, I was looking at the tree and I did notice a little bit of scale on it, I think down here. So I may have to spray it. Yeah, so that's what I'm working with. I'm going to begin the pruning, and I want to reduce the tree in height. So I'm going to take off this branch here. I have a new shoot here, so I can take this branch off here. I'll leave a bit of a stub there. This trunk line here has a living shoot down low and one here, but I'm not seeing any living parts of the tree up top. Oh wait, no, there's a bit of green showing here, but this back branch is dead, so I'm going to take the back branch off. You can see it's dead because the trunk or the branch is all withered up, whereas this one is still plump and there's green there. And even the thorns on here look alive. Yeah, they've got some color to them. So there's potential, I think, as the weather warms up, this branch will shoot out. I think this one is totally dead. It looks withered up. I don't see any signs of growth on it, so I'm going to take that off. Because I have a division of 1 to 3 here anyway, so. Yes, it was totally dead. It's brown with the cut point. Then I pruned it here previously, and it did sprout branches in this area. But then this one took off, and this one just died off. They don't like to ramify much, these plants. At least not in my conditions, growing conditions. So I can see the living part, and then it changes, so this is dead. And I'll just confirm that by cutting the top off, checking for any green living tissue. No, it's totally brown. I'll cut a little lower. Check that out. Brown, no green at all. So I know that branch is dead. So I'll remove it entirely. There's a little stub in front of it that I'm going to remove also. So this can go like that. And I should zoom in so you can see this. So there is a bit of green color in the trunk, and I can see a bit of green going up to about this point. I'm going to nibble it back a bit further and just see if there is any green on that lower part of the branch, because it's possible it could sprout out. No, it's dead. Ooh, it's very dead, yeah. So I'm going to take that right back. You can see the living tissue now where it's green. There. Big cut, cleaned up nicely. I will put rubber cement on that cut to seal it up. It's a pretty big cut, and I don't want water getting in there. Insects or whatever. Okay, so that's sealed up nicely. Now I've got to follow this trunk line up and prune it, reduce it in height. It's getting, as I said, too tall, so let's have a look where I can prune it. So I'm just following that major trunk line up. This green branch is here. That one I don't see any green on. I do have an opportunity for taper here if I took off the top here and grew this as the leader. So I think I'll do that. Even if this trunk line is maybe alive, I'm just looking to see if there's a leaf node here that's coming out. I don't think so. I'm going to take it back, so I'll just rough prune it first. taking the top off. It was alive, there's green on it. But I think it's more important to get taper and reduce the height. So here I go, cleaning that up like that. And I'll also seal that. Some trees are very obvious what's died and what's alive. Some trees aren't. So it comes up, divides into two, which is quite nice. So next I'm going to deal with this trunk line here. And I can see on this one that it is dead. You can see it's brown all the way down. So I'm going to prune this one off right here. Yeah, that was dead. Definitely dead. And then I'll clean up the stump. Still dead. No living tissue at all on that branch. I gotta be careful of thorns here. They're very sharp. There, that's cleaned up. And I better seal that one up too. Like that. And then I can cut the height of this one down. I have an outwards facing branch here, so, and I think the top is dead anyway. It is. There might be a little bit of living tissue here, but not very much. Oh, it's dead. So this is a branch extension here. Over here I have a branch. It doesn't look like it's alive, but is it? That is the question. It's still flexible. It might be alive. I don't know. I better leave that one. I will prune the branch tip off this one, so it flows outwards a bit more. And that might be all the pruning. Oh, there's a stub down. Oh, it just broke off. There's a stub down there. That's cleaned up. Yeah, I think that's it for the Bullhorn Acacia for today. Now, I don't know. I think I had this planned as the front of the tree. Maybe, I don't know. I could also prune this one back. I have branches fanning out down low. This one kind of conflicts with the trunk line. I think I'll do that. I think I'll prune off this whole upper trunk here and I'll leave a stub. So here I go, big cut coming up. Done. That's better. Now my major trunk line is forward. This is a bit of a supporting trunk line. Yeah, so that is definitely it for the Bullhorn Acacia today. I will spray it. I noticed there's scale insects on it, so I will put the branches on the compost heap and then spray the tree down with soap and water. And as I said, I'll do that outside where I'm not breathing in the misty soap. And all these branches get thrown on the compost heap because they're full of the large thorns and little tiny ones. So you do not want to step on these. They'll go right through your shoe. So these go in the compost heap. Okay, here I go with the soap and water. I left the tree sit for 4 or 5 minutes. So now I'll rinse the soap off. This tree is native to Mexico, so it also should like the warm weather coming up, and it'll like being out in the full sun too. It does not like growing in the plant room over the winter, but it sure likes it when it gets outside. It sure grows with a lot of strength. Okay, I think that'll do. Even though I don't have the right climate to grow a Bullhorn Acacia, it's still alive after many, many years. And it's slowly getting better. It's starting to get some character to the trunk and some branches, and it doesn't look like a little seedling anymore. So I got my 2 olives, my fake olive and my real olive, pruned up today. And that's it. That's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.